I hope you managed to create a new map project that at least when you run it, it should ask you for permission. It should be able to do this, where you can say allow. If you haven't been able to do that, then go back and look at our previous videos where I showed you how to do that. Okay, but you should be able to manage that. Okay, I'll just go quick review here. So we went ahead and created all the location manager, listener, and location manager here at the top. And we have inside of our own map already, we instantiated our location manager, and then we went ahead and did location listener, and we attached our new location listener, which then gave us all of these location changed, status change, and other overridden methods. And the most important part here is that we are checking whether our version of our SDK is less than 23. In that case, we're just going to go and request location updates. Else, we'll have to again go and ask for permission. And if it's not right, if there's no permission, we are going to request that permission. Else, all is good. We have permission. We're going to request location updates. And then we are going to add a marker on our map. And regardless of anything, we're still adding a marker just for testing purposes. We can get rid of this. That's not a problem if you want. And of course, we have to override the onRequest permission. Only runs once. So if the request permission is granted, we then check to make sure that we have this permission. Okay, but in any case, you should be able to get, at least when you run, to be able to see this. You say allow. Well, let's run once again. In this case, because I said yes, I'll allow, and we're able to see our marker. Now we know that our map app is ready to go. What are we going to do? I'm going to go ahead and create a few new folders or packages inside of our main package here. So I'm going to say package, I'm going to say UI. Again, this is just something I usually try to do just to separate my code so everything is well organized. This is going to be data. And some of these folders will be empty, but nevertheless, I just want you to get into the habit of doing this as well. Let's see what it's now. We are going to say model, and perhaps we can say util. Good. Okay, so we have a few packages, new folders there. We're going to put different types of codes. Actually, let me go ahead and add a new one. There's an airplane or a helicopter going by. Don't mind that. Okay, so let's say activities. So that's where all of our activities will be going to. Okay, now that we have that done, let's go ahead and get a few libraries that we will need. First one we're going to go get is Volley. So we're going to go app, file, I'm going to go project structure, go to app, dependencies. We're going to say here Volley and enter. And I usually like to go get the Dubsmash Volley library. Say OK and OK. The Volley now is being synced into our Gradle. We should be able to have it now. In fact, we go to our Gradle scripts build. We should see Volley somewhere. There we go. We have Volley. Good. So we know we are set with our Volley library. If you are just tuning in right now, the Volley library allows us to make HTTP requests to get, for instance, a JSON or a string or anything else out of a server. We can parse that information into our application. Okay, so it makes it really easy for that to happen. And before we forget, let's go to our Android manifest and add a internet permission. So say users internet, just like that. I'm going to close. All right, we should be good. Let's get out of here as well here. Inside of our model, we're going to create a class here. This class is going to be earthquake class. So model, right click, Java class. We're going to call this earthquake. So this will represent an instance of an earthquake. An earthquake has a place where it occurred. So we're going to say private string place. Now you may be asking, well, where am I getting all this information about earthquake? Well, I'm getting all that information about the earthquake from our JSON object. Okay, so again, this is where we're going to be getting all of this information from, which is the earthquake.usgs.gov. Okay, if you go to that location, let me go back here, copy this. This is where we're going to get all information about earthquakes. So what we are really interested in is here, was it data and products. And then from there, where are we going to go? Let's go to web services and scroll down. I'm going to go to real-time database feeds and scroll down a little bit. And we just want this JSON summary feed. If you click on that, then it gets you to this page here. Okay. And GeoJSON summary, this is the format that we need. Of course, I'll have all of these links for you as well. So you can go around it and read about all of this, and check it out. It's pretty amazing. When I found out about this link, I was so excited that I decided to build an app about earthquakes, which is very cool. First thing I do, I'm going to give you an overview how I go about constructing the model for the app that I'm about to build. Okay, so I look at the JSON that I'm going to be consuming, and I look at all the properties. So I notice, so this represents one earthquake. Obviously, there's a lot of data. You choose and pick what you want to include in your application. In this case, I want to include the magnitude, the place, the time, and the URL detail. Okay, and you will see later how all of this is going to play. And of course, most importantly, I also need to get the coordinates for each one of these earthquakes. As you can see here, this is an object. And of course, inside of that object, we have this array.json object here, which has objects of earthquakes. So that's how I go about constructing my model class. So I want a magnitude, place, time, URL detail, and of course the geo coordinates. All right. Knowing that information, I go back and I say here, for instance, the next thing I need is a magnitude. Now I know that magnitude has to be a double because it says 3.38, right? So I'm going to use a double. So I'm going to say double magnitude. I'm going to go ahead and say private long. It's going to be time. Why do I say long? Because you see this number here, it's all in milliseconds. So it's a very big number, a computer generated number that we will have to take it and convert it to something that we can actually read. Okay, so we're going to say it's long, and then private, okay, detail link, private, I'll call this type, and then private double lat, private double longitude. I'm going to go ahead and create a constructor with all of these. Okay, and also I'm going to go create an empty constructor. I'm going to create getters and setters with all of them. There we go. And we should be done with our earthquake. Okay, just get out of that. Perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new class here instead of the utils. I'm going to call this constants, right? I'm going to call this public static final string URL is equal. I already have the URL, so I'm going to get it right now here. Okay, this is the URL where we're going to go and fetch our JSON all week. So the one we're getting, it's going to be, let me go back here. Let me go and find past 7 day. I'm getting this one here. So this is the one I'm getting. As you can see, it has a lot of information. And if you look at the top here, it says count. So it has 1,942 earthquakes. Okay, this is all week, 7 days, the past 7 days. That's a lot of earthquake. And the next thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to say private static final int, call this limit. This limit would allow us to, when we start getting all of this information, all of this data, as you can see, there's a lot of them, right? A lot of earthquakes. That's a lot for us to put on a map. I mean, you can, but it's just going to be too much. Okay, so we're going to put a limit. Okay, I'm going to put a limit here of, let's say, 30. And obviously you can change this to your liking, but I'm going to start with 30. That way it's easier to see. Okay, I'm going to save that. We're going to put more util constants inside here. for when we need to use them. Okay, so for now, we're going to close out of that. And I think we are ready to move on to the next part, which is to start constructing the application itself. Okay, perfect. So I'll see you in the next video.